Well, hi.
Hi, I'm Dangle.
I'm Dot, and today we're going to talk about a technical term called cognitive reserve.
What is that?
Well, what if the brain scans and your tests don't tell the full story?
I believe that.
We believe that.
We believe that.
And even so, there's research around this from a famous nun study that actually kind of points to there could be something happening in the brain, but people don't express Alzheimer's disease or dementia. So that makes
Another curved twist, huh?
twist to our story on how we're going to dare to do dementia differently.
Link.
Yeah, and why we can't always accept such the tragedy narrative.
Yes, there isn't such exacts in this, it appears.
Yes.
Certainly in my 13 years of being diagnosed.
Yes, and also with me, with losing 8 family members, some of which never got diagnosed.
Yes.
Which is a problem, actually. And then also getting diagnosis, but people outperforming that diagnosis or outside of their physical
so
findings.
blessed. Yes.
Yes.
And what's the difference, right? I mean, is it that when they very first got the diagnosis, in my case was, this is it. You have. And so when you get that and you go to and the doctor's telling you, and he's all dressed up in his white suit and all of that sort of stuff, we listen to him. And maybe we should listen to them, hear it, and then be curious enough, right?
Right. And delve into some science around Alzheimer's disease. We don't know everything at this point. We certainly know a whole lot more than we did 30, 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But the brain is a very interesting place.
It is, and very complex.
Very complex. Also, there hasn't, until recently, there wasn't a lot of money given to brain research. So a lot of that has changed. But one of the most interesting studies is the nun study, and it's been 30 years.
Yes.
That over 600 nuns were willing to donate their brains at autopsy.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't that beautiful?
And this is what they found.
Yeah, so what they found, it started in 1991, and the nuns agreed to annual cognitive and physical tests. Okay, so they took testing, they did physical exams. 98% of them had agreed to donate their brain.
Wow. Nice, huh?
Yeah. So now that we have this powerful information, what they found was that even on autopsy, some of their brains actually had what we call the pathology for Alzheimer's disease. Amyloid plaques or tau or things that they found in the brain that normally would have said, oh, that person had Alzheimer's disease. But guess what? Not all of them ever showed any Alzheimer's disease.
They continued on without the little jabs you get when you forget something or when you miss an appointment right?
Yeah.
They didn't have any of that.
Yeah. So even though they had the physical signs of Alzheimer's in their brain,
yes, it didn't
equal to the symptoms.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. And so they did show that cognitive reserve, meaning the nuns that had higher education, strong language skills, lifelong mental engagement, were more resilient. So that's one of those brain health recommendations.
Sure, stay social.
And stay mentally engaged.
Yes.
Get education. Even there's a lifetime of education really can add up to cognitive reserve. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to college, but you keep learning.
Yes.
Keep learning. What else did they find? That, your early life does equate. So
plays into it.
So if you're a grandparent, you want to encourage your little ones to get early education. Those nuns who had more complex language early on had lower risk of dementia also from the study. So brain health does begin early.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, better health, even aside from brain health, but better health and feeling better and being able to do more for longer.
Yeah.
It's really important and should begin early.
Yeah, so get those little ones to read.
Yeah, that's
Actually, I had heard that somewhere that people with like even moderate Alzheimer's disease do really well still at reading books to little people.
Oh, really?
So you're great grandbabies.
Yes, lucky them, huh?
Yeah, no, so reading to your children
Yes.
and encourage early education. And then, as Nancy was mentioning, our lifestyle really does add up to this. So similar environments, routine with community, shared purpose, also factored into this nun study, which we understand, nuns were certainly in a place of service. They were surrounded by community.
Well, and they have purpose. And so I really think that a lot of my success has been because I truly have been busy in advocacy and in my writing and in helping others and Dangle Dot. And I think if we don't have a purpose, it's harder.
Yeah. So that was one of the conclusions of this nun study. Purpose and connection support the brain.
Yes.
A life of meaning, even faith-based. It's not a cure, but it seems to be a powerful buffer.
Yes. Yes, because you see all this stuff that I talk about, flying away, going away, right? And you think, well, it's frustrating, and it is frustrating. However, if we can look at it in a different way, if we could be told what we know today, if I could have been told that back 13 years ago, my journey might have been easier.
I think this gives more hope.
Oh,
right?
It absolutely gives more
kind of
hope.
give people more direction.
Sure.
Sure. And certainly it just lends itself to the disease is not your whole story.
It is not an ending. It is not anywhere near an ending, maybe. Right? I mean, it's time to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
And to take the steps if you haven't been able to do it prior to that.
Right. And a bit of it also points to a bit of our theories is can we shift from what is perhaps broken or not working to what are your connections? How is your other parts of your life? How can we build on that?
On that, yeah. Be willing to look at it, and not afraid of it.
Yeah. So the nun study, I really encourage you to take a peek because I think it is let's thank the women that participated in this
that
study.
Were willing to do that.
I think it's quite an honor because science really have learned a lot from this study. And that also, it's not just a straight disease, that our environment really does impact perhaps even the trajectory of the disease, or maybe it's kind of there, but it doesn't ever even show up as symptoms.
And maybe as a nun, you're really so busy with what you're doing and where and the help that you're giving that you don't have time to think about a disease, right? You don't give any thought to it. So I really think our mind is so powerful, even as it may be taking these twists and turns.
Yes, and then how, again, are we shaping our lives through our faith and purpose, and how can we continue to do that, maybe even more so if someone gets a diagnosis?
Yes, that's the time. That is the time, I think, is an advantage if you catch it early and you're willing to look at it early, because maybe there's so many suggestions out here worth looking at, right? And gosh, before they weren't even there. These kinds of things, these studies weren't available, and we're just saying they're there now, and so look at them. It'll make your life easier if you find yourself having a diagnosis of cognitive.
And I think it gives sort of hope. Well, we do have to take maybe practical steps if someone's experienced symptoms or you're having some challenges with, a loved one having difficulty doing things. Maybe they're getting frustrated. It is good to go find out maybe the why. The brain is perhaps a particular area of the brain's being functioned.
Yeah.
But being very careful not to say, well, it's going to go in this way because of this. I think these studies, and we have own personal examples of the brain scans, the tests, didn't equate to someone's performance or ability at home.
Really? Yes. I was kind of an outlier in that. What it said wasn't really how I was responding when I took the tests. And I was fortunate to be able to have the tests for 7-8 years. So I think we have to be really careful how we get pigeonholed into and ingesting a diagnosis, because it's limiting, and we don't want to limit ourselves.
Yeah, I think you can feel really underestimated by the clinical system, right?
Oh, of course.
This is it, and this is how it's going to be.
And you're walking this line. Hey, don't get over here. You know?
So I think it's important sometimes to also, with that in mind, get around other people who've been diagnosed early, and they're doing amazing things.
Oh, yes, they are.
Nancy's an incredible example. What we've met along the way, we had Sam Simon on the show about people who, okay, it's there, but I'm going to live my best life with it's there.
And thankfully for care partnering that is loving and caring, and they so want us to do well, and thank you. I mean, if you don't hear it enough, boy, you should be. It's a tough job on both sides.
Right. And knowing that your loved one is more than what has shown up in a piece of paper on a diagnosis.
Exactly.
And care partner, you get the honor of, holding the honor, the dignity of remembering who your person is. Sometimes for them, what they did enjoy doing.
Right.
And again, focusing on abilities, where we are right now, this is what we got, versus
what you can't do.
What we can't do.
You think about it, if what I'm thinking about is the things that I no longer can do, or that takes me 10 times longer. It takes me an hour to do something that used to take me 5 minutes. That is frustrating. And yet, we have to look at what we can do.
So I remember one of your physicians commented that you were doing so well because you created, out of your cognitive reserves, workarounds.
Right.
When you got stuck somewhere, that you figured out perhaps another way. You were using other circuitry.
So this would be talking about books. Reading something, and I had thought about going on TED Talks, and I wanted to know how does that work, because I can't remember anything. As you remember, we talked about what can we do. Anyway, this is how I had to do it. I had to read a page, and as I was reading the page, I was making notes on the page. Page 1. And then a bullet point telling me what that page was about. Page 2. So that I did not have to go back and because when I turned that page, I did not remember what was on that page. It was just ridiculous.
Oh, so frustrating.
I know. So 36 pages later, right? And so I was showing this to the doctor, and I said, this is what I'm doing for a workaround. He says, wow. I said, it takes me so much longer to read things.
Well, you came up with your own method.
I came up with my own method, so then I always kept the written notations, and so I could go to that page and reread that page. But if I had to go back to the whole book and read the book and figure out where it was, I would never do it.
Yeah.
But there are workarounds. And yes, laborious is a word.
And I think it's, I know we use it for Dangle Dot. You had a former business career, so I intentionally tap into, I know what skill sets were from those years, you know, your business networking, handing out business cards. That's kind of tapping into some of the reserves of what is, the brain is sort of like an onion. What we did longer ago is more usually intact than what just happened 5 seconds ago. I do that with my brother. I take care of him. He had a stroke and also had intellectual disabilities, but he's got special abilities. I take care of him. And he recently scored on a memory test, which is out of 30 points, he scored a 9. Which would say severe dementia, meaning he can't take care of himself at all.
And that's not true.
And if you see him,
that is not
he's
true.
completely making his own meals.
Yes, he's witty.
And when I
when
I say I focus on his abilities, no, he can't handle the bills, nor was he ever able to be honest. But what he did do in his business, he worked in shipping and receiving at a company, and guess what he does at our house? He takes care of all the boxes. He's our supply chain manager. I even gave him a title. Again, the scores on his paper, the CAT scans, the scans don't add up to his ability. And Nancy also is the case. People, of course, always are whispering, she doesn't have it.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Or your favorite? Yeah. She's highly functioning.
Yeah, she's high functioning.
High functioning.
What is that exactly?
What does that mean? I know another person who has early onset or got an early stage diagnosis. He's very offended by that statement.
Yeah, high functioning.
High functioning.
I went home that day and said, what is high functioning?
What's high functioning?
What does that really mean?
I know. So we have this locked-in view of what a cognitive disorder diagnosis has got to look like.
I know. And hey, it covers some things other than dementia. I have a daughter that had TBI and brain surgery, and it reacts very much the same way. We never know when you look at somebody and they're trying to get words out. We never really know what the cause is, and so we should not rush to the worst thing that you can think about, and most of the times the worst thing is dementia.
Yeah,
or Alzheimer's.
Or it's going to be, and we get that diagnosis, it's going to be this exact path.
And and so often it turns out not to be.
Yes. So we're going to take a great break. I really love have a little something.
Coffee.
We have water today, but we also enjoy coffee. We would greatly appreciate it, or we love for you to commit to our
buy us a coffee.
Buy us a coffee. And here it does help us to get our message a little further. And speaking of messages, we're going to hear from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Dangle.
And I'm Dot, and together we're daring to do dementia differently. And we want you to come along with us on our mission to bring more hope, brightness, and light around a tough subject.
Brighten up.
So how can you support us? We do have a book, an ebook at the moment called Dare to Do Dementia Differently. You can find that on Amazon as well as on our website. And another thing we enjoy is coffee.
Ah, we like coffee.
And so you're able to buy us a coffee in support of our mission. And we have the QR code here called Buy Us a Coffee. We also,
fun.
I know, and you can buy two. And the proceeds will go to us to help us further our mission.
So that we can help more people help themselves.
To feel like they can do it.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think you just need to hear that.
Yes. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we're going to talk about what are the things that keep you up, that help you.
They give you that sense of connection and purpose.
Yes, because if that's important, and I believe very important in my case, and I think I hear it around, if you've got something solid that you want to do, you want to finish, you want to get involved in, or are involved in, it helps you. Belief versus resignation. If you take a diagnosis, you ingest it, you sit there, or if you hear it, you're curious about it, you find out a little bit, you start doing different things a different way, and your creative juices begin, and you think, wow, this would be fun. I will tell you, I've met so many nice people along this journey.
Yeah, we wouldn't have met each other if it hadn't been for that diagnosis.
Yes. I look at it as a just an educational thing that you can do for yourself. It's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It is a mindset.
Yeah. So, and ways that we also both practice to keep our brain, that cognitive reserve, the sense of purpose, is a lot of social engagement, conversation.
No yeah.
Yeah. To keep that going. And I do realize that, some people's loved ones aren't aware that they even have cognitive changes.
Right.
Right. So,
or they don't want to tell them. Somebody's aware, but they don't want to talk about it.
But there are certain forms where people have no awareness that there's something different.
Yes.
So in the Care Partners case, you do need to figure out your way of relating, and without pointing out, I told you so.
I started going with a friend whose father had developed Alzheimer's and passed away, and she said to me, would you go to this caregiver support group? And I said, absolutely, because my father had passed away many years earlier, and I wanted to learn more about it. And it was the best thing that I did, was to say, hey, I want to learn about this. And so many more support groups today than there were before. They're there, for sure.
Yes. So, just staying in touch with one another and connecting with people, even if you found yourself in a new place.
And the way you wake up in the morning, and the thing that you tell yourself the very first should maybe think about, is we can either have a smile on our face and say, okay, what do I need to do today? As opposed to maybe sleeping another couple of hours. Or it does make you feel good to get up and to make a decision to dress, put a little makeup on before you leave the bedroom, and it makes you just feel better. Doesn't it make you feel better?
Absolutely. Even as a caregiver, that getting dressed sometimes, instead of staying in my robe and gown or nightgown all day, does shift my whole energetic
you
self.
don't want to do as much, do you?
No, you feel a little, some days you do need to feel lazy and slubby, but also I always noticed caring for my mom, she shifted when I was dressed up. It made her feel better, honestly, because that was important to her, and it was a sign that her daughter's doing okay if I look like I was put together.
Yes.
Versus coming in at 3 a.m.
And so if you, my mother was up and dressed. And if I didn't feel like going to school, she'd say, "You're going to feel better because you're going to get up, you're going to take a shower, you're going to get up, you're going to get dressed, and you're going to go." And you do feel better. There's something about makeup. There's something about having clothes on and shoes on and whatever.
And even if you're in a care situation where you're having to dress your parent, sometimes it is, I know it's challenging at times, but if you can find something they love to wear, something that
color that they like, or
a color, a feeling of the fabric.
Yeah, or if they've put it on wrong, and it's just it's a time for caregivers to have to come forward and realize and understand, maybe, and everybody's situation is different. We're not all, I've been in the frustrating side of this, and you certainly have. And we also, we're looking for the easy way or the IA way to make life easier for you and bring a little laughter and a little joy, because that does help.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be wrapping up today. And if you could put in your comments, what gives you a sense of purpose or connection? What I would say is more than your skin is really your spirit and who your, what your soul is. So we're beyond, to me, your physical body. You're certainly more than a scan or a diagnosis on a piece of paper.
Absolutely. One diagnosis or somebody's opinion doesn't always mean that the diagnosis is a good one.
Yes.
Could be something else.
So we would also like to honor Mother's Day.
Yes.
This one we're filming it right before Mother's Day, so whenever you happen to see it, we always want to, every day is Mother's Day.
Yes. Hats off to our mothers.
Off to the moms who find themselves in caretaking roles often, too.
Yes, for their lifetime.
Yes. We appreciate you, and we, again, appreciate all the nuns that participated in the nun study to let us learn more about cognitive reserve and staying connected and curious, our lifetime, and how that can impact our brain health. If you want to learn more about how to live well with dementia, we have our book, which we're very proud of.
Dare to do dementia differently.
Yes, all the stuff that we wish we knew when we started
Way
on our
back
journeys.
when. Yes,
a lot of good resources.
And we approach it from two angles, and oftentimes we hear one, and this is a two-way conversation for us that hopefully will empower you.
Yes. So it's available on our website and also on Amazon as an ebook. And as soon as we get enough cups of coffee, we're going to have it printed.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
We are a work in progress, as we all are. So we appreciate you. Final last words?
See you next time.
Yes.
Tune in again. Thank you.
Yes, stay curious.